There's definitely an art scene in Staten Island. Don't be fooled by mainstream media. Staten Island has little pockets of art, creative people, new businesses. Say your name and title, and I'll do mine.
All right. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Bennett, the Executive Director at Staten Island Arts.
And I'm Jenna Mimoso, Deputy Director.
And today we're going to be taking you on a tour of some of our favorite locations and businesses on the North Shore of Staten Island,
highlighting the connection between art, commerce, and culture. Here we are at Everything Goes Book Cafe, where literally everything goes. You can find music, you can find art, you can find food, you can find it all here at Everything Goes. This place is like the closest to New Orleans in New York. They've made their own library here, people donate books, and they're educating the community around them, which is very important. And now I'm in my living room here at ETG.
I think I'm gonna buy this one. I think I found a winner. Jane Pitney.
It says, kids, you need an adult if you want to see how this works.
So welcome to Staten Island Makerspace. This is a place that's at the intersection of old traditions and new artistic practices, and it's a place where everybody can find everyone else in the Staten Island art community. Emily, can you tell us a little bit about the Makerspace members who are operating their own small businesses out of Makerspace?
Michael Ardito, he runs a company called Hometown Type, and he restores and resells typewriters. So it's kind of magical in a way.
I've noticed that his space has grown.
Yes.
And I hope that that's because his business is growing.
Yeah, absolutely. So he is actually one of the last typewriter repair shops in New York.
Wow.
And he's right here in Makerspace.
Here we are at Flagship Brewery, the renaissance of brew culture on Staten Island.
The way this place looks now has a lot to do with how the community wanted it to be. A lot of the stuff you see like this flag those are by people that just hang out here. They just did that one day, you know.
There's an art scene here. He just said it. We're here. We're all here.
And I think that's what makes a community or a neighborhood attractive to just be around or live or open a business. That's what might get people to this neighborhood for the first time. That's what people that frequent this neighborhood, I think, love about it, and we just want to be somewhere in there.
Hi, Julia.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, Julia.
Hello. Hi.
Oh my God, Julia looks amazing.
Thank you. It goes all the way to the back, so if you, so.
You did such a beautiful job setting this up. Am I spelling Jasmine?
Yeah, Jasmine.
Okay.
That was a great guess. Everyone just wonders like, oh, what's that smell when we come in? And I'm like, Jasmine, but you're the first person to figure it out what it was.
So when people drive down Bay Street and they come into the Bay Street corridor, if they're coming from the Verrazano Bridge, one of the first things that they see as they enter the Bay Street corridor is the mural of elephants, the beautiful golden doors that are the doors of your family's restaurant, La Caruana.
You know, a lot of people doesn't really come down to Bay Street as often, but once we did the murals and the golden door, people started to notice like, oh, I should go in there.
Well, and once people pass by it, they will never forget it.
And they'll never forget, and they try to come back.
The family that owns La Caruana was looking for a way to share its cultural heritage with the rest of the world. And so the young daughter of the restaurant owner founded the museum, which you can now visit.
So here we are at Hypnotronic Comics, steps away from the Staten Island Ferry Terminal. And a large part of their business is supporting local makers and creators that work here on Staten Island.
This place is a mecca for anybody creative in the area. We're promoting them, and they tell everybody our stuff is available at Hypnotronic Comics.
Right.
So it's a cross-promotion deal. It's great.
Right. That's a local artist up there on your wall.
Yes, Santo. He's our local artist. We've sold a few of his pieces before.
This is from an artist, Melissa Prieb. She makes jewelry with comic books, and these are some of the things that she brings in. She also makes frames, and we sold out of those because they're awesome, so I got to get some more of those in.
I think what we've done is we've just basically have this great support system that crosses not only through art and culture, but through commerce as well.
And we do that by supporting our local independently owned businesses, which are often owned by artists.
He's got free posters for us.
Graduated from Hypnotronic Comics.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Q&A for the Downtown Film Festival here on Staten Island. This is Kevin Fairchild, and I am the coordinator for the Downtown Film Festival, the Cinema Connex series for Staten Island Arts. And I would like to thank you all ever so much for joining us. Before we get into the actual Q&A, just wanted to cover a couple of little housekeeping things. First, there's a chat window that's either going to be probably right below or right to the right of the screen that you're watching this on. And that chat window is going to allow you to ask questions a little bit later when we get to a little bit later in the Q&A. And then that'll be great. So please feel free to ask questions there. Want to give a really big thank you to all of our Cinema Connex partners who've really been there with us through the last 2 years of this great program. There are restaurants and other businesses in the Bay Street corridor, and they definitely need your help and support right now. Most of the restaurants have been open, but very happy to say that Bay House Bistro, Bay House Asian Bistro is back open. And one of our favorites, and I know yours too, New Lackawanna is now actually open for takeout. So please, please, please continue to support these companies. A couple of the ones haven't had a chance to open back up yet, but when they do, be sure to help support them as well. And for a full list of all of our Cinema Connex partners, you can head over to the Staten Island Arts website and check them out there. Just click on either the Cinema Connex or the Downtown Film Festival, and you can see all the links for all of them. Also, a really big thank you to our funding partner for this. It's the good portion of the funding comes from the Neighborhood 360 program by the New York City Department of Small Business Services. This is a really great organization, a great service by the city, and I know I've taken advantage of it with my small business. They're out there supporting the businesses that are actually doing the work, and we greatly appreciate that. So thank you very much. So we are all here today for this lovely discussion to talk about Staten Island's Huddled Masses. Great film. And I am joined by 2 members of the board of the organization that helped make this film possible. We have the co-chair of the board of Move Forward Staten Island, Amu Kowalik. Welcome. Thanks. And then, hi. we have the whole family in here. I love it. It's okay. And then we also have, Roseanne Matola, who is the treasurer of Move Forward Staten Island. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us and for featuring our film.
Absolutely, happy to do it. So let's start from the beginning. What was the origination of this film?
So I'll take it. So basically, there was a growing anti-immigrant sentiment really across the country and in our borough. And we wanted to remind our fellow Staten Islanders from every walk of life that we all come from an immigrant background. For the far majority of us come from an immigrant background in this country and in this borough. And to sort of capture the essence of every single background that came to Staten Island to start their lives in America, or came to New York and ended on Staten Island, and for a better life. And just to sort of take these stories and tell it in a way that everyone can relate to. So that was the thought about this film, and it really started off as a simple storytelling project, and then we started working with great partners and were able to edit it in a way that it became this real film and documentary on 3 incredible individuals.
Thank you. And if I could just add to it, I mean, we definitely talked about it at the board level that, all of us have that story that unites us. I personally am an immigrant to this country, and I know my colleagues, their families were, the recent immigrants as well. And so when we talked about how that united us, we thought, what better way to really unite Staten Islanders, because we all have such a rich history here.
Yeah, so how did you find the people to interview? What was that process like?
So full disclosure, Leela is my mom. And Vincent Verdi is Julian, our founder and chair's father as well. And we're very close with the third participant in the film as well.
And we wanted to make sure that we captured immigrants from different areas in the world. So, we wanted, an Italian story, and just make sure that it wasn't just European immigrants, but we really captured all of the great cultures that are represented here on Staten Island.
And this is just part one. We are actually in the middle of part two, which is in the works. It's being edited and hopefully will be released later this year. And we hope to keep on building on this because Staten Island has such a rich immigrant history, both for folks who've been here for a very long time and folks who are brand new and making Staten Island their home.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think that, most of us come from some sort of immigrant story, right? Or know someone who does, have someone in our family who does. I know I'm personally a second generation. My grandparents came here in 1956, fleeing what was happening in Hungary during the revolution. So, and the ability to bring that culture with you, I think is really important. If you could talk just a little bit about Move Forward Staten Island and the work that you do and like who you are as an organization.
Go ahead, Move.
I was like, who wants to jump in? Okay. So we were actually founded in 2016. Our chair, Julianne, who could not be here because she just had a baby and she's really sorry to miss this. But she had actually talked to a few friends. They created a Facebook group just after the elections in 2016. I think we all felt a certain way and just felt like we needed to connect with other folks. And I want to say, starting in 2017, Move Forward organized a number of events, including up until recently, one of the largest demonstrations on Staten Island. I want to give a big shout out to all the youth that have been organizing for the last few weeks on Staten Island. But prior to this amazing turnout that we've seen on the news, we did do a People's Climate March in 2017 as well. And we've been doing social justice focused issues on Staten Island. So we're nonpartisan. But we are social justice focused. And so what we want to do is move these social justice issues forward in the community through education, organizing, workshops, civic engagement, and policy advocacy, which we have been doing a lot of, especially now, given the fact that we are social distancing at home. There's not a whole lot we can do in the community without putting ourselves and others at risk, but we have been doing what we call scorecards that we do for how our elected officials are voting on social justice related policy issues, especially at the state level. We've been focusing mostly on the state right now. But Ro is the mastermind behind a lot of that. I don't know if you want to say a little bit more about the scorecard.
Sure. So one of the things that we do at Move Forward is just try to keep our elected officials accountable for their votes, and just get people involved in the process. What we found is that keeping track of these votes is actually very difficult, even when you're looking for them. So before, we don't have great coverage of the day-to-day elected official actions, and especially just given this whole Black Lives Matter movement right now and the force behind it, really giving people actionable things that they can do. These bills are coming up. These are your elected officials. These are their phone numbers. These are their Twitter handles. This is how you can have your voice heard right now and actually have a say in our democracy. So the scorecards are a great thing, and we're going to try to keep up with it as best as we can, and on the social justice issues that really matter to our followers and to Staten Islanders as a whole.
I think that's.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that just as early as last week, we did a whole take action campaign, a call to action on the repeal of Statute 50A. And so that really took off. We had so many people call and contact their electeds, and we saw that it was repealed. And we were able to do a scorecard on how the Staten Island electeds did it, and thank the folks that did support its repeal.
Yeah, I think that work is tremendous because I know for me personally, sometimes it can be very overwhelming in trying to find out how to support communities or how to lend your support to something or where to go, what to do, because there's so much going on. It's so overwhelming, and you want to make sure that, it's easy to make donations to things, and donations are very important, obviously. But if you want to go one step beyond that, it's hard to find out where to go and what to do, right? And so the fact that you're putting out these very concrete things, like this is something anyone can do, I think is great.
And I think that's sort of the spirit of how Move Forward was founded by Julian at the time. It was, you know what, we're not happy right now, but instead of just being upset about it and complaining, let's come together and see what we can do about it piece by piece. And immigration, which this video is about, this film is about, is really just one piece of what we do. And this project really morphed into something that we're really proud of.
Absolutely.
So how do you keep inspired when it seems like you're putting all this effort into something and things don't always work out the way you want them to do? How do you keep that inspiration?
I mean, for me personally, it's my friends, colleagues, my family, knowing that if we were to just give up now, that it would be detrimental to their lives. I mean, my daughter is actually first generation. You know, my husband and I are both immigrants to this country, and I know that I can't give up. I have to keep moving this forward. No pun intended, but we do need to work really hard and we need to work together. And so I'm so grateful for the community I found through Move Forward. Because Staten Island, it could feel a little isolating on Staten Island, depending on where you live. And so, you know, it feels really good to know that there are a lot of like-minded individuals working hard every single day to make this community our community, and to make us feel included and make it feel like an inclusive place that you want to be.
And just to echo that, you know, we've met so many fantastic people through Move Forward on Staten Island. And Staten Islanders really do show up when it matters. I think we've seen that over the last few weeks. And just to see that is inspiring. And as the mom of two young kids, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, I want them to grow up on this island in a better place than when I grew up on this island. And I think we all believe in Staten Islanders and what this place can be. And we just want to fight for it. It gets tough at times, but we're there for it.
And it's our home. I mean, I've been here my entire life, minus 1 year. I've been here since I was a baby. So, you know, we have to fight for our home.
Absolutely. It's remarkably important to be able to do that. And I think, you know, cinema is a really great way to do that as well, right? It's a great storytelling medium. And making documentaries like the one that you did, just very straightforward, presenting stories, I think is a great way to do it.
It was also very purposeful that, you know, we tried to keep the politics out of it a little bit. We just want to capture these stories and just remind people that we're more alike than you know, different. And that was sort of the backbone of the film, was just let's just tell that story that we can all relate to.
Absolutely. And June is Immigrant Heritage Awareness Month, or, you know, and that's where the idea actually started springing up about a year ago. And so it's fortunate that this was premiered at your film festival in June. And, you know, I think you can even see with the 3 folks that we do highlight in our film, they didn't know each other before. And just to see them connect and just like say, like, you know, and their stories are so different, right? And I think so many people on the island can relate to all 3 of them in different ways. It was just beautiful to watch it unfold.
Absolutely. What are some of the organizations and things that you're partnering with, or that you're working with here on the island? Have you had a great sort of success in being able to work with other folks and trying to, I don't know, come together and make change?
Well, we should give a really big shout out to Projectivity, who actually filmed this project. We went through and edited it and captured the moments of these interviews that we wanted folks to see. But Projectivity really did a fantastic job capturing these 3 individuals and really getting a feel for the film. So that was first and foremost. We probably should have even mentioned that beforehand. But
yes,
yeah.
So Christian from Projectivity and Shani, our videographer, they have been amazing partners on this.
And you worked with them again on the second one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And, and they gave so much of their time too for this project because they really believed in it as well.
And to answer your question, though, beyond Projectivity, who we're so grateful to be partners on this film with, we have partnered with a lot of organizations on the island. We've done annually, we do concerts where we benefit one of the organizations on Staten Island. So from Planned Parenthood to the LGBT Center. I'm blanking on a couple of other organizations because I wasn't always, I wasn't with Move Forward from its inception, unfortunately. I wish I was.
We're also, we work with Sustainable Staten Island, but we're also sort of spearheading a group of progressive organizations so that we can work together to address issues in our wheelhouses versus, all trying to do the same thing from our own perspectives, but really trying to coordinate our projects together so we're not wasting our resources.
What advice do you have to people who are either just now sort of discovering their activism or are on the verge of discovering their activism? What advice do you have for them on how to become more involved in what's happening in their community?
I mean, it's now is a different time that we're living in, right? We can't just jump into a community meeting, but if you're not, if you're not burned out from all the online connections, there are a lot of different groups out there that are online. There, you can find them and just connect with them. I mean, connect with us. We want folks to join us and help us move forward a lot of our progressive policy issues. And we're actually, hopefully in the next couple of months, we'll be able to provide a training for folks who want to meet with their electeds and talk about what policy issues are important to them. And so we are working on training folks before they meet with their elected so that they're not so nervous to talk to these folks, and to also remember that they work for us, we're their constituents, and that we do have the right to let them know how we feel about their stance or how we need them to take action on certain policy issues. So I would absolutely say, contact us, like us on Facebook, follow us. I mean, reach out to us. We'd be happy to hear from you and work with you on projects. But there are a lot of different, as Ro mentioned, a lot of different progressive organizations around the island doing some really great work. So I think everyone, it's a really small community. In the end, you find out, I mean, Staten Island, we know is pretty small, but if you meet one organization, you will be looped into this amazing network of people who are doing some really, really important work. So don't be shy would be my first thing to say, because I know that's how I got involved with Move Forward. I'd been here my whole life, but I decided not to be shy, and I'm really lucky I did that.
And I would just say, on top of that, to find the one thing that makes you're truly passionate about, that you truly want to change, and start there and start small, and don't be nervous about reaching out. The first few legislative meetings I took I was a nervous wreck, but it really should be a conversation, and your story is powerful. No matter what the topic is, your personal experience is what you want to hear. You don't need to be an expert to share that. And just start small and get involved and have your voice heard, because it will help in the long run.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, any closing thoughts or last thoughts before we let you get go?
I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who viewed this film. This is definitely a passion project for us. We do this in our spare time. We're, I'm a mom, Amu's a mom, Julian's a mom, and we're all working, and we're all, trying to pull our weight. So this is something that was meant to really be a conversation starter. And I hope that others will feel more comfortable with sharing their immigrant story with their neighbors. It doesn't need to be partisan. It doesn't need to be something to argue over. It is just our stories and our unique perspectives on things. So I hope more people continue to share their immigrant heritage.
I agree. And if you're inspired to want to share your story, reach out to us as well, because as I said, we're trying to add and have as many Staten Island voices involved in this as possible. And this is an ongoing project for us, so we'd love to hear from you.
And how do they do that? How do they get a hold of you? Where do they find you?
you can message us on any of our social media platforms. We are always monitoring them, but you can always drop us an email at info at moveforward.nyc.
And our website is also moveforward.nyc, and you can find all of our social channels there. And we invite everyone to connect that may want to drop us a comment or have an idea about a future action that we can work on.
Absolutely.
Love it. Well, thank you both so much for taking your time out today to talk to us. Thank you both very much for getting this film made, and I hope people are able to watch it and use it to share stories about their own immigration and immigrant stories, which I think are remarkably important. So thank you both so much.
Thank you.
And for everyone else, please stay tuned at 6 o'clock today. Here in about a little over half an hour. We're going to go live again with Jeff Gomez, who's going to talk about his personal creative story. He's a very prolific transmedia producer, and he's going to talk a lot about how he found his personal story and then how we as content creators can do the same thing. So if you are watching and you have an immigrant story to tell and you want to know how to do it, find the best way to do it, you'll definitely want to listen to Jeff Gomez because he's going to teach you how. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll be back here again in about half an hour. Talk soon.
Thank you.